Welcome to Hard Road Theater's Stage-at-Home radio serials, where we step back in time and bring you stories and tales from the golden age of radio. Tonight, through the support of Lee's Fine Jewelry, Loans, and more, we bring you Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime produced in association with the Los Angeles Police Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. Dragnet is brought to you by Lee's Fine Jewelry, Loans, and more. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. An elderly woman reports that a man has stolen $300 from her apartment. She says she saw him. Your job. Check it out. Do you have old jewelry that you never use? Are you looking to trade old gold, silver, or diamonds for fair value? Then head over to Lee's, the local gold buyers that buy and sell a variety of fine jewelry and stones from people in the Highland, Illinois area. In fact, Lee's offers service from trained professionals that have years of experience when it comes to providing fair value for jewelry and precious metals. Don't let your collection collect dust when you could collect cash for it. Call now or stop by to get started. That's Lee's for fine jewelry, fair pawn shop deals, and gold buying and selling. Next time you're shopping for someone special, visit Lee's Fine Jewelry, Loans, and More on the Square in Highland, Illinois, or call them at 618-651-0610. Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime, for the next 30 minutes in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department. You will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case, transcribed from official police files, from beginning to end, from crime to punishment. Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, May 19th. It was sunny in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of the burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 3:47 p.m. when we got to a small apartment house on the corner of Olympic and 6th, the Topeka Arms.
What was that lady's name again, Joe?
Dunbetter. Martha Dunbetter.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, here's her mailbox. Number 8.
Must be upstairs.
How do you figure that?
Only 8 mail slots means 8 apartments.
Yeah?
Stands to reason number 8 will be on the 2nd floor, doesn't it?
Oh, well, I suppose so. Wonder who comes from Kansas. Didn't you notice the plaque out front? Topeka Arms?
Yeah.
That's the city in Kansas, Joe. Topeka, Kansas.
Sure.
Well, somebody must have come from there. The owner or the builder. Why else would they give the place a name like that?
I don't know.
Stands to reason, doesn't it?
I guess so.
See? You're not the only one who can do it.
Do what?
Deduce.
Oh.
That's what they call it. The way you figured out number 8 is on the 2nd floor. Deduction.
Uh-huh.
I was just giving you another example when I proved that somebody connected with the building used to live in Kansas.
Yeah.
Deduction. Works all the time. See? Right down there. Number 8. Just like you said.
Uh-huh.
Never fails.
Who's there?
Police officers, ma'am.
Oh, just a second. I'm coming. My goodness, you certainly got back in. Oh, dear me, you aren't the same ones, are you?
No, ma'am. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
There were 2 other policemen here, just a little while ago. It's a shame you didn't know. You could have saved yourselves a trip.
That's all right. We knew they'd be here.
You did?
Yes, ma'am.
They're patrol car officers. They were in the neighborhood, so they answered your call.
Well, I just don't know why you had to bother yourselves too.
It's no bother, ma'am. All right if we come in?
Oh my, yes, please do. Just imagine, all four of you trying to help me find my money back. Certainly makes a body feel important.
Did the other officers say where they were going?
I'm not sure. I wasn't able to follow everything they said.
Uh-huh.
Something about a canvas. Yes, I believe that was the word.
They meant they were going to canvass the area for the suspect,
Suspect?
the man who stole your money.
Oh, but I don't just suspect him, officer. I know he did it. I saw him.
Yes, ma'am. So you're Mrs. Martha Dunbetter, is that right?
No, not exactly.
Oh?
It's Miss Dunbetter. I'm still single.
Uh-huh.
Would you mind telling us just what happened this afternoon, Miss Dunbetter?
Oh, no, I don't mind at all. It's still quite clear.
Yes, ma'am.
You see, when a person gets to be my age, well, sometimes you aren't able to remember every little detail.
Uh-huh.
But a thing like this, it sort of sticks out.
Sure.
Go ahead, please.
What was that, young man?
Go ahead. About this afternoon.
Oh, well, now let's see. I fixed myself some lunch, and then I rid up the dishes. It must have been about 1 o'clock by the time I finished.
Yes, ma'am.
Afterwards, I put on my hat and went down to the library. It's only a couple of blocks from here. The Grover Cleveland branch.
Uh-huh.
I took back my books and checked out 2 fresh ones. There isn't much of a selection. It's a small branch.
I see.
Of course, they're very nice to me. I've been going there for quite a spell.
Sure.
And they'll order things from downtown if you ask them to. But then you have to wait several days, and I wanted some reading matter for now.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked out 2 novels. Actually, they're stories I've read before, but I'll enjoy them just the same, and I won't have to concentrate quite so much.
Yes, ma'am. So what happened next?
I came home, and there he was.
Ma'am?
That awful man.
Oh, well, just where was he?
Here, in my apartment.
I meant which room.
Over there, the bedroom.
I see.
I guess he didn't hear me let myself in. I always try to move around as quietly as possible, even in the afternoons. People sometimes like to take a nap.
Uh-huh.
Not that you can do much napping in this building. Radios blasting, television, Victrola records. Why, that girl downstairs even has a dog. A dog in an apartment house. It isn't fair to the animal, let alone the other tenants.
You said this man was in your bedroom?
Yes, that's right. That's where he was. As soon as I came in, I heard him. At least I heard somebody moving around. At first I thought it was Mrs. Parker, the manager. I know she sneaks into my apartment and noses around. Of course she says she doesn't, but I know better.
Uh-huh.
Well, I said to myself, I've got her red-handed this time. So I marched into the bedroom all ready to give her a piece of my mind. I was never so flabbergasted in my whole life. He was standing in front of the dresser, going through my pocket.
I see.
My black patent leather. That's the one he was holding.
Uh-huh.
I didn't say anything. Not at first. I was too taken aback. But I guess I must have made a noise. Anyway, he turned around, all of a sudden. And when he looked at me, my voice sort of came up into my mouth. "What are you doing here?" I asked him point blank. "Just what do you think you're doing?" He didn't answer. He only grinned and went on going through my handbag. I suppose he figured I was a harmless old lady and couldn't stop him.
How much money was in the purse?
I'm not positive. Not to the penny. Almost $300.
In cash?
Yes, sir. You see, I've been saving dimes for the last 15 years.
You mean this $300 was in dimes?
Goodness gracious, no. What I do is go through my change every night and put all the dimes in my dime bank. Then when it's full, I take it down to the real bank and change the coins into bills. The dime bank holds $25.
I see.
You'd be surprised how much a person can save that way. It mounts up.
Yes, ma'am. Do you know the denominations of the bills?
I guess they were mostly tens, maybe one or two bigger ones.
Why did you keep that much money in cash?
When you're my age, you never know what's going to happen. A person gets sick, has to go to a hospital. You need cash at a time like that.
Uh-huh. Now, what did this man do next, Miss Dunbetter?
Well, he found the money, my $300, and stuffed it into his pockets. That's where I kept it, in my black patent leather.
I see.
I told him if he didn't put it back, I'd call the police. That didn't seem to worry him a bit. Afraid I won't be able to stick around till they get here, Granny. That's what he said to me. Then he just strolled out of the apartment as big as life. I was too dumbfounded to do anything about it.
I understand.
I heard him tramp down the stairs, and then I heard the front door slam. When I was sure he was out of the building, I managed to get my wits together and dialed Central.
Central?
The operator. She put me in touch with the police station.
Had you ever seen this man before, Miss Dunbetter?
No, I'm sure I never did.
Could you tell us what he looked like?
I told the other officers.
Yes, ma'am. We'd like to hear it, too.
Well, he was a tall man.
How tall?
As big as you are, I'd say.
What color hair?
Dark. Very dark.
Eyes?
Dark eyes, too. Dark. Complected. Like he'd spent a lot of time outdoors.
How was he dressed?
A shirt and pants and a jacket. A light-colored jacket. I think it was green.
Did you notice any scars?
Yes, come to think of it, I did. Across his forehead. A thin little ziggity-zag.
How old would you say he was?
Oh, he was young. 35, maybe 40.
Do you know if anyone else saw him? The other tenants?
I haven't talked to any of them. I haven't left the apartment since it happened.
You live alone, do you?
Oh, my, no. My sister Bessie stays with me.
And where is she this afternoon?
She went out of town for a few days to visit her grandson and his family. They came down from Oxnard this morning to get her.
I see.
Tomorrow's her birthday. She'll be 80. I expect they're going to have quite a celebration.
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, they invited me along, but I didn't want to intrude. After all, it's Bessie's birthday, not mine.
Sure.
When I turn 80, I don't suppose anybody will lift a finger to give me a party the way they're all carrying on. You'd think it's such an accomplishment. They're even going to put her picture in the paper and write an article about her.
Well, it's a pretty ripe old age.
I don't see what's so ripe about it. After all, I'm nearly 79 myself. Oh, I know I don't look it. Everybody thinks there's at least 10 years between us, and Bessie is failing.
Yes, ma'am. Just a couple more questions, Miss Dunbetter.
Certainly, young man, certainly.
What time was it when you got home from the library?
2:45, maybe a few minutes after. No later than 3, though.
I see. And how did he get into the apartment? Was the door locked?
I thought it was. I always try to remember to lock it whenever I go out. But sometimes I do forget. I guess I did today.
Uh-huh. Do you think you'd recognize the burglar if you saw him again?
I most assuredly would. There's nothing the matter with my eyesight. It's as good as it ever was. My faculties aren't impaired, I'm happy to say.
That's fine. We'd like to take you down to the office with us and show you some pictures
Oh?
to see if you can identify him.
I couldn't go like this. I'll have to change my dress first. Oh, I'm all right for walking around the neighborhood, but not for going downtown.
That's up to you, ma'am. Try not to touch anything in the bedroom.
Why not?
We'll have a crew from the crime lab check for fingerprints, the pocketbook especially.
Oh. Well, I'm sure you won't find any.
Ma'am?
He was wearing mittens, gloves.
Well, we'll check anyway.
Say, Miss Dunbetter, while I think of it, who came from Kansas?
Kansas?
It doesn't have anything to do with the case. I was kind of curious, that's all.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Well, the name of this apartment is the Topeka Arms, so I figured somebody connected with it must have come from Kansas.
Oh.
You don't know who it was, do you?
Now, let me think. Oh, yes, I remember. That was old Mr. Hendrickson's idea.
You don't say.
Yes, he was the man who built this building. That was, goodness sakes, almost 35 years ago. My, how time flies. I just can't believe I've lived here that long. You see, I was practically the first person to move in.
Yes, ma'am. And this Mr. Hendrickson came from Kansas, did he?
No, Minnesota. Minneapolis, as I recollect.
Oh.
But it was his idea just the same, calling it the Topeka Arms, on account of an article he read in the newspaper while the building was going up. Remember him showing it to me? Poor Mr. Hendrickson. Gallbladder.
Ma'am?
That's what took him. His gallbladder. 1936.
Oh.
The building's never been kept up properly since.
Well, was that the reason for calling it the Topeka Arms?
That newspaper write-up.
Yes, ma'am.
It said there were more people in Southern California who came from Kansas than from any other state.
Uh-huh.
So, Mr. Hendrickson figured the name Topeka would attract a lot of tenants. Ridiculous nonsense. I said so at the time. There hasn't been a single solitary one.
Oh?
35 years. Not a soul from Kansas has ever lived here.
4:05 p.m., Frank and I put in a call to the crime lab. While Miss Dunbetter changed her dress, we checked the other apartments to see if anyone else had seen the burglar. On the second floor, only one tenant was in. Mrs. J.T. Blade, apartment 6, informed us that she had been out marketing at the time of the crime and had just returned home. We went down to the first floor and stopped at apartment 1.
Who is it?
Police officers.
Oh, for Pete's sake, come on in. And cut out the corny jokes, will you, George? Oh, say, who the heck are you?
Police officers.
Mickey, get down, Mickey. Get away from there. Olive shut him in the bedroom, or we'll never get a minute's peace. He's just no good with strangers. Now get in there. Are you guys for real?
My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith. Here's the identification.
Oh, looks like I goofed. I got such crazy friends. They're always pulling gags.
Sure.
Do you rent this apartment, ma'am?
That's a matter of opinion. The way the other tenants check up on everything that goes on in here, you'd think they were paying the bills.
Have you been in all afternoon?
All day, for that matter. Except for the couple hours this morning when I went down to the unemployment office to file my claim.
I see.
I'm a model. I do a little acting in pictures. Right now, I'm having a bit of a dry spell.
Uh-huh.
Tina Malott, that's my professional name. You ever hear of me?
I'm afraid not.
Lousy press agent. Gonna make me famous overnight. $10 a week I've been paying him for over 6 months now. If I died, he couldn't even get me an obituary notice.
You sure you've been here all afternoon?
Yeah, why?
Did you see anybody come into the building around 3 o'clock?
Nope.
Hear anybody?
Afraid I ain't gonna be much use to you. I got a late date tonight, so I've been storing up a little extra sleep time. I just woke up a couple minutes ago.
Well, have you noticed any strangers hanging around this neighborhood lately?
What kind of strangers?
How about a middle-aged man? Tall, dark hair, scar on his forehead.
If he's been around, I haven't run into him.
Do you usually keep your door locked?
Sure, when I'm out.
Was it locked this afternoon?
You walked in, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you guys building up to?
One of the tenants has reported a burglary.
In this apartment house?
That's right.
Holy smoke. It'd be just my luck at a time like this. Now where the heck's my pocketbook? Oh, I know I had it with me this morning. Oh.
That it over on the desk?
Yeah, thanks. 5, 10, 11. Guess it's all here. What little there is. Looks like I got a break for once. That's a switch.
Yes, ma'am. Well, sorry if we bothered you.
Hey, wait a minute. You're holding out on me.
How's that?
Who got taken?
Oh, Miss Dunbetter, apartment 8.
Done better?
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't you know it? One of the yak girls. Morning, noon, and night, yak. They don't even stop for punctuation marks.
Oh,
For the last 6 months, that sister of hers has been jawing about her 80th birthday. I'm beginning to feel 80 myself. Now, they'll have a new subject. Brother, I'll hear about this burglary till it comes out my ears. You know something, mister? It'd be better off if he'd robbed me.
Frank and I checked the other 3 apartments on the first floor. None of the tenants were at home. 4:16 p.m. The patrol car officers who had answered the call returned to the building. They reported that they had been unable to find anyone answering the suspect's description in the immediate vicinity. A few minutes later, Lee Jones and a crew from the crime lab arrived. They began their investigation, and we drove Miss Dunbetter down to the city hall. We checked the oddity file and ran the suspect's description and MO through the stats office, and they came up with 17 possibilities. We pulled the mugshots and showed them to Miss Dunbetter. She was unable to make an identification. 6:13 p.m., Lee Jones reported no useful fingerprints or other physical evidence in the apartment. 6:46 p.m., we drove Miss Dunbetter home and went off duty. The next day, May 20th, 11:17 a.m. I got it. Burglary, Friday. Who? Oh, sure. Yeah. When he come in? Uh-huh. I see. Oh, I don't know. What did he look like? Uh-huh. Yeah, we'd like to... Okay. Thanks a lot. That was Chub Stark.
Who?
You know, Stark. Bartender over at the Yellow Cat.
Oh, yeah. What'd he want?
Guy came into his place last night. He was carrying a pretty big roll. Threw it around. Bought drinks for the house.
Uh-huh.
Got kind of loaded. Did some talking about how he picked up the dough. He just walked in again this morning.
Sound like anything to you?
Chubb said he's about 6 foot, black hair,
Yeah.
scar on his forehead. Frank and I drove out to the Yellow Cat on Figueroa. Chubb Stark, the bartender, pointed out a husky man sitting in a corner booth. We went over to talk to him.
Stand up.
Huh?
We're police officers. Stand up.
Okay.
You can sit down again.
Something eating you guys?
What's your name?
Why?
Come on, what is it?
Portlong. Ralph Portlong.
Where do you live, Port Long?
Hotel around the corner.
How long you been staying there?
Since last night.
Before that?
Back east. I just got in town yesterday.
Whereabouts back east?
What kind of roust is this?
Whereabout?
All over. Chicago, Cleveland. All over.
What kind of business you in?
Unemployed.
You got any money?
Some.
How much?
I ain't got a lot if that's what you're getting at.
How much?
$100. Maybe 150.
Where you get it?
Borrowed it.
From who?
Pow.
In L.A.?
Chicago.
What's his name?
Johnson. Cliff Johnson.
Address?
I don't know. He moves around, same as I do.
How you gonna pay him back if you don't know where he lives?
We'll bump into each other.
When was it you got to town, Portlong?
I told you. Yesterday.
What time?
6 o'clock. Somewhere in there.
Yesterday morning?
Last night.
You sure of that?
Yeah.
How'd you come? Train?
Car.
Your own car?
Hitched a ride.
Just where were you yesterday afternoon?
riding into L.A.
All afternoon?
Yeah.
What's the driver's name?
How should I know? I've been hitching for the last week. Must have rode with 20 different guys.
You don't remember who you were with yesterday?
You ever been arrested, Portlong?
Nothing serious.
Tell us about it.
Drunk, that's all.
Where was this?
Ohio. When I was a kid.
Anything else?
Speeding tickets.
Ever been arrested in California?
Never been in California.
First trip, huh?
Yeah. You ain't exactly making me feel real welcome either.
You know about an apartment house called the Topeka Arms?
Whereabouts?
6th and Olympic,
Where's that?
in L.A.
Can't you get nothing straight? I ain't never been here before.
Uh-huh.
Now how about giving me an answer? Why the roust?
Come on, let's go.
What for?
To show you the sights.
For instance?
City Hall.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Good morning, sir. Welcome to Lee's. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I'm in need of your services today, and I need it taken care of, quietly and quickly.
I see. And, what might be the nature of your, emergency?
Well, I've recently acquired a, large liquid asset that needs to, let's just say it needs to disappear.
Uh-huh.
I need to keep this asset away from prying eyes, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I definitely do.
Yeah, I heard through my associates that you're the man to see when you want the work done, discreetly.
Well, we are nothing if not discreet.
Yeah, but, not inexpensive.
Hey, discretion comes at a price. So, When may I see the asset to be fenced?
It has to be today,
Of course.
and I need the deal finished by this weekend.
Hey, if you're willing to pay, nothing's impossible.
Yeah, I can pay.
I can see that.
So what do you recommend?
Well, since I assume you don't want your neighbors to see your lovely wife sunbathing around the pool, I'd recommend this 6-foot brick model with marble accents. We always...
Lee's Fencing. Discretion comes at a price. But so does that trophy wife. Frank and I took the suspect into custody for further questioning. 12:16 p.m. We ran the name Ralph Portlong through R&I. They had nothing on him. We put out an APB with his description stating he was in our custody. The bulletin requested any information about the suspect and was marked Attention Chicago PD and Cleveland Police Department. 12:18 p.m. We again interviewed Portlong. He insisted he had not arrived in Los Angeles until 6 o'clock the previous evening and refused to say anything more. 4:06 p.m. We received replies to our APB on Portlong. Chicago reported 2 convictions for grand theft auto, and Cleveland reported 1 conviction for burglary 2nd degree. We telephoned Miss Dunbetter and arranged for her to attend a special show-up at the main jail. 6:17 p.m. The show-up was completed, and Frank and I took the victim back to our office.
You're absolutely sure it isn't the same man?
My goodness gracious. I ought to know.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't see how you could have made such a mistake.
He fits your description, even the scar.
But I told you it was a ziggity-zag.
Uh-huh.
This man's scar is entirely different.
Oh,
And his hair is wrong, too.
is that so?
The other man had some gray in it. Right across here.
I thought you said he was fairly young.
A body doesn't have to be old to get gray. Why, I've been gray ever since I had my appendix out. And I was only 34.
Yes, ma'am. We'll have you taken home now.
It really is a shame.
Ma'am?
But you arrested that poor fellow. When he hasn't done anything.
Burglary, Friday. Yeah? Yeah, that's right. Well, when did you get it? I see. No, not yet. Sure. Will you notify them? Okay. I guess we don't need to feel too sorry for Portlong.
What do you mean, Joe?
Another answer on our APB.
Oh?
You were right, Miss Dunbetter. He couldn't have been your burglar.
I told you, didn't I?
He was in Needles yesterday afternoon. Hitched a ride.
Yeah?
Slugged the driver. Ralph Portlong was held pending arrival of the authorities from Needles. The investigation of the apartment house burglary continued. 2 more suspects were brought in for questioning. Both men succeeded in establishing alibis for the time of the crime. Monday, May 23rd, 1:48 p.m. Frank and I were on our way back to the office from lunch.
How was your pie?
Okay,
Just okay?
it was all right.
Lemon meringue, huh?
Yeah.
Should have had apple.
Uh-huh.
I told you, Joe. Stick with apple. You can't go wrong.
The lemon was fine.
You didn't finish it.
I was full.
Sure. Well, someday you'll learn.
Learn what?
Apple pie's always safe. You can't louse it up, even a bad cook.
I get a little tired of it once in a while, that's all.
No reason you should. You can switch it around so many different ways.
Uh-huh.
Cheese, a la mode, hot sauce. No reason to get tired of apple, Joe.
Sure.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Call for you while you were out.
Oh,
She wants you to call back. Here's the number.
thanks. Bessie Maxton.
Who's she?
I don't know. Mrs. Maxton? This is the police department, Sergeant Friday. Yes, that's right. Yes, we were the ones who... Yes, ma'am. I see. Yes, I guess we can. Is something wrong? Oh. You sure of that? All right, right away. Thanks for calling. Bye. Miss Dunbetter's sister. She just got back from Oxnard.
Yeah?
Says it never happened.
Huh?
The burglary. Says her sister made it up. Frank and I drove out to the Topeka Arms and went up to apartment number 8. It was 2:17 when we got there.
Somebody's coming.
Yeah.
Well, what is it?
Mrs. Maxton,
That's right, that's right.
my name's Friday. I just spoke to you over the phone.
Yes, of course.
And this is my partner, Frank Smith.
How do you do? Please come inside.
Yes, ma'am.
I just don't know what to say. I suppose it's all my fault for going out of town. I never should have left Martha alone. I might have known she'd get up to something.
Are you absolutely sure about this, Mrs. Maxon?
About what? About what?
That there wasn't any burglary?
Huh? Never in a million years.
Your sister gave us all the details.
Play acting. That's all it was, play acting. She's done it all her life.
I see.
You mean Miss Dunbetter isn't,
My sister is as sane as you are, if that's what you're driving at.
Then why did she tell us that story?
I haven't the vaguest notion. She simply won't give me any explanation.
Did she tell you about the burglary?
Certainly not. Certainly not. She knows better than to hand me any of her cock and bull stories. I can see right through them.
Who did tell you about it?
When I got home this morning, everybody in the building was discussing it. The news was in the papers. Mrs. Parker saved the clippings for me.
Uh-huh. Well, what is it that makes you so sure your sister was lying?
In the first place, Martha never had $300 in her whole life.
I see.
And in the second place, if the story is true, why won't she face me? Why is she hiding?
Hiding?
The minute I told her I was going to call you, she locked herself in the bathroom.
Oh.
She's been there for 2 hours now. She simply refuses to come out.
Well, we want to talk to her if we can.
I'll try again. The fact that you're in here may have some influence.
think we've been getting a runaround, Joe?
Sounds that way.
Yeah.
Martha! Martha, come out here this instant. Martha Dunbetter, do you hear me? The policeman came to talk to you. Now come out. The police are here.
I won't. I won't ever come out.
I never heard of such childishness. You see, I'm not able to do a thing with her.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe if you speak to her, she'll come to her senses.
Okay.
My own sister carrying on like this. I don't know how I'll ever be able to hold my head up again. It's scandalous.
Miss Dunbetter? This is Sergeant Friday, Miss Dunbetter. Will you please come out so we can talk to you? Miss Dunbetter.
Well, it's about time. Whatever were you thinking of, Martha? What got into you?
I am not speaking to you, Bessie.
Let's go in the other room. It might be easier to talk there.
Yes, sir.
Not speaking to me, huh? Well, two can play at that game. And I assure you, I won't be the one who suffers.
Do you want to sit down? All right, Miss Dunbetter. Can we clear this thing up now? Your sister says there wasn't any burglary.
And just how would she know? She wasn't here, was she?
I know because I know you.
Huh?
And I know you never had $300 to your name.
I did too.
Where'd you get it? Where did you get it?
It's none of your business.
How about it, Miss Dunbetter? Did you have $300? Well?
I never said it was exactly 300, not to the penny.
$3 would be more like it.
There may have been a few things you don't know about, including my savings.
A likely story. You never saved a penny in your life.
What about my dime bank?
I shook it just the other day.
I'll thank you to keep your hands off my property.
Savings indeed. If I didn't pay most of the expenses around here, you'd starve to death.
I managed quite well before you moved in on me, Bessie, and I was perfectly happy living alone. As a matter of fact, I preferred that arrangement.
Maybe you'd like to try it again.
Maybe I would. I'm sure I'd be money ahead.
Ha!
Don't you ha me, Bessie Maxon. You ought to see the way she eats. Gobble, gobble, gobble. She shovels it down.
Stuff and nonsense. I don't have any more appetite than a bird.
Birds don't nip the cooking sherry.
Martha Dunbetter, how can you say such a thing?
Because I know it's true. I marked the bottle.
Well, whatever I do, I don't fib to the police like some people I could name.
Well, Miss Dunbetter?
I may have exaggerated a speck.
Uh-huh.
I didn't mean to do any harm.
Did you know it's against the law to file a false police report?
Against the law?
There, you see? You're going to jail. I knew it would happen. I knew that sooner or later you'd disgrace us all.
Why did you do it? You must have had a reason.
I won't tell you. Not in front of her, I won't.
Oh. Would you mind waiting in the other room for a couple of minutes, Miss Maxon?
I most certainly would.
We'd appreciate it, ma'am.
Oh, very well, very well. You'd think I was the criminal around here.
All right, Miss Dunbetter, go ahead.
It's very difficult to explain.
Uh-huh.
You see, it was all on account of her, Bessie.
Go on.
It started when we were little girls. Just because she was older, she was always lording it over me. Mama and Daddy always gave her everything first. Hand-me-downs. That's all I got. Bessie's hand-me-down. Then when we grew up, I couldn't push myself very much. She was just the opposite. The belle of the ball. She had her pick of all the young gentlemen in town. The only time they'd take me out was when Bessie was busy. And don't think she didn't let me know that I was second choice. The only reason she married Horace was because he took a fancy to me. Well, I had my pride too. I wouldn't settle for her leftovers. That's why I stayed single.
I see.
The least she could have done was name one of her little girls after me. After all, I am her only sister.
You still haven't told us why you reported the burglary, Miss Dunbetter.
I am telling you.
Yes, ma'am.
It was on account of her birthday. That was the last straw. She hasn't talked about anything else for months and months. Just because she's 80 years old, you'd think she was Queen of Romania. Her picture in the paper. People making a fuss about her. Well, I made up my mind that for once in my life, someone was going to make a fuss about me. And to tell you the truth, I'm not a bit sorry I did it. I mean, I guess I should be sorry, but I'm not. I really enjoyed myself. All those questions you asked me, like I was somebody, and my name was in the newspapers too. First time it has ever happened. It's kind of strange when you think about it, to live 79 years without ever seeing your name in print. But that wasn't the best part.
Ma'am?
The best part was Bessie not being able to horn in and take all the credit. Oh, I knew you'd find me out sooner or later, but I didn't care. I sure had the laugh on her. All the time she was in Oxnard being partied, and I was having a little party of my own.
You know you didn't need to put us through this, Miss Dunbetter. You're almost 80 yourself.
It's over a year away. When you're my age, you can't be sure of anything.
Yes, ma'am.
Besides, when I'm 80, Bessie'll still be ahead.
Ma'am?
She'll be going on 90.
The story you have just heard is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. On May 26th, a hearing was held in the office of Perry Thomas, city attorney. In a moment, the results of that hearing. Due to the advanced age of Miss Martha Dunbetter, and because of her assurances that she would never repeat her actions, no charges were filed against her. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of the Chief of Police, W.H. Barker, Los Angeles Police Department. And remember, if you're looking to unload some of your unneeded items, it's time to contact your local pawn shop for a fair valuation of your things. Look no further than Lee's Fine Jewelry, Loans and More on the Square in Highland, Illinois.
That concludes tonight's episode of Dragnet, proudly brought to you by Lee's Fine Jewelry, Loans, and More on the Square in Highland, Illinois. Tonight's episode featured Bill Sullivan and John Jetko as Sergeant Joe Friday and Officer Frank Smith. Additional voices were provided by Meredith Canterbury, Gentry Pfeiffer, Tom Varner, Wayne Steiner, Rob Bowman, and Jim Burgett. Hard Road Theater's stage-at-home radio serials is available on the Hard Road Theater Facebook page, our website, www.hardroad.org, and as a podcast through your favorite podcast provider, Apple and Spotify. Thank you for joining us today. Have a good day, and please, be safe.